You know, it's rather interesting how the weather is connected from the polar regions even all the way down towards the tropics. And it even is more so here in Eastern Asia because we have the Siberian high and just that overall monsoon that influences the weather from Japan all the way down towards the Philippines. It's the 26th of November 2020, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends out here, especially those in the military serving out here in Okinawa. Always thank you very much for that. Let's take a look at our forecast though. So we have our shear line here, and I know there's this area towards the east of the Philippines. Looks kind of interesting. It's being completely sheared off because of that monsoonal flow that I'm talking about here. This is actually the forecast Thursday through Saturday across Japan, and see this? This is this area of low pressure that's going to be pushing in basically from the southwest towards the northeast. It starts to develop up here. It might bring some rain into Tokyo, but look at all the snow that starts to pile up across the Japanese Alps thanks to kind of that backside flow of this and a bit of sea effect. In fact, some areas, look at that, actually about 10 to 15 inches in some of the higher elevations. Skiers and snowboarders going to be absolutely happy. I'm sure places like Hagura, higher elevations, going to be getting some decent snowfall there. But what am I talking about? How does this snow in Japan disrupt the tropics? Well, like I said, this is all connected to that monsoonal flow. So we get our low pressure area off here towards the east. That flow comes in across the Sea of Japan. The snow piles up into the Japanese Alps here. And then we start to see that flow actually push further towards the south. So places like Okinawa, looking at some gusty conditions, and then it influences northern areas of the Philippines. But remember, this dry air is coming all the way from northeastern China, bringing the snowfall, wrapping around, and it ushers in cooler, drier air across the tropics, including vertical wind shear, and all these things are just influencers to destroy tropical systems. Now, one thing I do want to note, breezy conditions are still be expected in the Philippines, and that means we're actually going to be seeing some decent rainfall out here. Actually, some areas could see about 100 to 200 millimeters of total precipitation. Around Cagayan, I know that's the last place you need more rainfall, but thankfully it's not in the form of a tropical system. It's more of this drizzly, scattered areas of showers type precipitation over the course of several days. This is about 72 hours out in the outlook here, but I know it's absolutely drenched there, and you just don't need the rain with that northeasterly flow here. All right, so what else does this do? As I mentioned in my video yesterday, it really suppresses the development of any systems further towards the north thanks to that monsoonal flow and that cool air out of Siberia. So if anything does want to develop, it's going to have to develop further down towards the south here into the tropics, which as I mentioned, well, actually, I do remember 1 to 1.5 named storms sometimes do form in the month of December, but I don't see that right now. Look at where this area is here with that shear line. Further down towards the south is where you do typically see those storms develop because of that shear. So this is not going to develop into a tropical system. See what I did there? I started off with this, talked about the snow, pushed down, the winds pushing down here towards the south, and then came back to this as to why I do not expect that to develop into a storm. I point this out because I mentioned it in my video yesterday, and I'm seeing it more and more. I think it's because there's been so many storms out here in the Philippines. So now recently we have been seeing a lot of what I call scarecasters coming out. People that see something like this and they say, that's gonna be a storm. But no, there's just no information to point towards that. This is completely getting sheared out. Some of the long range 360-hour GFS model outlooks do point at something possibly developing, maybe a low pressure area into December 10th timeframe. I'm not going to show that to you just yet because it's just a GFS, not the European, not the Canadian models. We have one numerical guidance that in long range. I try not to show it to you guys. The people that check those models, you can find that yourself, but otherwise, I think it's just putting that information out there at this time. It's way too early because I try not to be wrong. I try not to put information out and then bring it back later. Instead, I would rather be more confident that something would develop and then give you that information later, which give it a couple days. If the European comes on board, we'll talk more about that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, then that's good news. I'm just kind of just talking away here about the weather. I think that's why some people are still watching here at this point. Follow me on all these social media platforms if you haven't already, and you're still watching this video. Subscribe, because you get more of these fun facts. Today's one of those days where, by the way, there's no tropical systems. I just gave you a 5-minute video to tell you why there are no tropical systems. Where else can you get something like that? Stay safe out there, and as always, thanks for watching. Jeez, I really tried with this one. I really tried to make something out of nothing and educate you guys at the same time. That's my goal. All right, now I'm done. Bye.